Okay, so let's start with welcome everyone. Who does know this quote? The world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. Anyone? Not really. So this quote is from Peter Diamandis. He's the co-founder of Singularity University, and he is a very important person nowadays to see what he is thinking and saying. He's a futurist and an important person in the entrepreneur world. Though a lot of people know that great opportunities bring great business, get business, not so many are able to do that. So I think that we have to rewire our brain and put things in the right way. So we think that if we make good with our business, that we have the tendency to think that business will be not profitable, or it will be not so good for investors. But in reality, it's the opposite. What's true, and I will show you numbers and studies that shows my statement. There is this report what I really love. It's called Better Business, Better World. Anyone is familiar with that? It's made by the Business and Sustainable Development Commission, and it shows if all sectors would shift into sustainable model, that we could gain £9 trillion by 2030. So there are tremendous opportunities in sustainable businesses. In the first part of my presentation, I will talk about for startups. So if someone wants to have a new idea and make a brand new business, how to find a good idea. And the second part of my presentation will be directed for companies. And you are from NGOs, so the important thing, I think, is to see that maybe it's worth to shift from an NGO or from a government's perspective to a more profitable business model. Maybe I can give you some insights. So, but let's start with that who I am and where I'm coming from. So I'm co-founder and leader of Spark Institute. We work with companies and we help them to build a better future. We use future scenario planning and innovation sprints and other soft skill development tools to help them to build and design a better way of operation. So we do with consulting, and as you can see, inspirational speeches and rapid courses. I brought you a remarkable story of an entrepreneur from the UK. His name is Abraham Cambridge. And I think his story, what he found and how he found it can be a very good example for us to see how a sustainable business model looks like. So he is Abraham Cambridge. And the first time when he fell in love with solar cells, when he started to use his pocket calculator. In my last presentation, someone thought that he is the one who invented the calculator, but no, this is not the case. He is the one who disassembled a pocket calculator and took out that small cell, which a solar power cell. So after he graduated, he moved to South Africa, what is the most sunniest place on the earth. Unlike anyone else, he didn't just sit on his bucket and drinking very nice cocktails. He explored the darker side of the country. He went to coal mines where he saw terrific work conditions. So people working in contagious places when there were no air and the conditions were not for human beings. Then he went to coal mines and coal-fired power stations, and he saw that all the people who are living around these stations, they were suffering really serious health diseases. Not so many people know, but what caused more than half of the climate change is from burning fossil fuel. So in one sleepless night, when Abraham was on his bed, he was scrolling on his phone, and he found this quote, what I just told you from Peter Diamond, that the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. And then he started to think. The next day, he set his colleagues and his experts to sit down and put together all the information what they have with this situation. So the coal-powered electric stations, the work conditions, the people on the planet who wants to have solar power, but they don't have access to it, that the fact that South Africa is the most sunniest place on the world, then we found there is a huge gap between investing in solar panel, and it's a heavy investment field, and the lack of source. The quote for Peter, and an existing app which helps on that time people to see who has help those people to see what's their electricity consumption if they use solar panels. And they put all these informations together, and they established a startup called 𝐬𝐿. And basically they monetize sunshine, but means that they involve people on their platform to invest in $5 per solar cell, to invest in projects. And when there is enough money to start to build a solar panel farm, then in South Africa, on the top of schools or other NGOs' roof, they start to build a solar panel. And it's a long-term investment, so investors get paid in a 15 years run, and they get around 10 to 20% share for their investment. The 𝐬𝐿 is a very good running business now. So it was established in 2014, and now they have more than 9,000 participants who are using their app, and they made several projects like this in Africa. So what the lessons, what we can learn from this example, why I brought you Abraham's example. So there are 7 things what I collected. So once, I think what's remarkable is the multi-stakeholder mindset, what he had. So here with this business, he can serve in the same time investors, so small people with small money who wants to invest in their money for a good cause. He serves NGOs who can have affordable energy. So with their solution, the electricity cost only 20% of an original electricity. What was the original electricity bill for them? Also, it's a very good business for them themselves, because they get 10-20% in revenue of the invested money, and also it's good for the planet. The second thing, that the whole business is aligned with SDGs. Who is familiar with SDGs, or shall I go into details? So if you could raise your hand if you know what SDG mean. Ashley, okay. Okay, Kate as well. Okay, so then I will just jump to the next one. So I will tell you why I think it's the business covers a lot of the social and the social sector and how to support the social and the natural sector. Sorry, 1 second. So you can see that the whole idea, it's supports, it fights against poverty, because they can give work for locals in a more decent way. So working on a solar panel farms, it's obviously much better than going under the ground in a mine. The other thing that it's also serve people good health and well-being, because the third thing is that because they can provide less affordable energy to NGOs, also they have quality of education, and of course the whole sun-generated energy is affordable and clean energy, and as you can see that it's the price of this energy, it's exponentially going down, the price. So it's a very good thing to invest in. The other thing is decent work and economic growth. Also, they involve innovation and sustainable cities and communities. Life on land they support, because all the investments going on the roofs, so they don't do any greenfield investment. And also they have a big impact in working with others in locally. So also partnership, it's a very important part of their business. So which goal, what you heard just now, did you feel the call? Do you have any? So what's the most important ESG goal for you? Could you write us in the chat, please? I put it back. So which goal of this IT improvements? Okay. No, poverty, quality education. Okay, very good. Thank you. And quality education, another vote. Okay, so the first thing what I love in this example, and sustainable communities from Chris, what I love in this example, that the good cause is the core of the business. So it's not something that they have a business where they creating problems in an environmental or social level. So the core business is to solve one of these or more of these issues. So using tech, as you saw that I showed you an app, what they used. So they didn't develop from scratch something. They involved as a partner an existing Israeli application. And there they saw straight away that they have a very nice using interface for the users. Also, you have to keep it in your mind, keep in mind that UX is king today. So user experience is everything. So if something is not easy to follow, if something is not too easy to click on, then your people will lose track very, very fast. Also, the business model coming from the technology field, because the business model, what Abraham used, it's called platform business. So it means that the application itself enable millions of people or thousands of people to use it. And what he is doing, that he connects people together and give them access to a project and what they couldn't access without this technology, what they are using. The fifth thing is the idea itself. So without the idea, without a groundbreaking idea, the whole business couldn't exist. And so I give lectures on complex problem solving, and this is a good example. What does it mean? So when you put all the problems together, what you have to face, what you are facing with, and then you find a solution, this is the first step of how complex problem solving look like. And I don't know that you knew or not, but creativity was in the last 5 years and even last year one of the most on-demand skill on the job market. And this is why, because to reinvent ourselves, to reinvent our businesses and find out new solutions, creativity and thinking outside of the box, it's essential. This is what LinkedIn found. This is what a lot of universities, for example, Stanford, found in their long-run studies. So it's an important skill to keep your eye on. They use the method. This is so there are 3 types of innovation methods and this is called merge. So when you merging together existing solutions, so solar panels, they were invented. Crowdfunding model, what Kickstarter used, it's invented. And an application was invented. And what the startup did, that they merged these inventions together. And there's one more thing what is very crucial in this startup, the commitment. And everywhere where you see startups with purpose, this is here a big point there, that they want to do something different. They want to show that they want to be a good person. They want to show that it's possible to make changes on the world if we want it. Yeah. So, and why we are talking about this whole thing so much and so often nowadays? In the UK, there is this net zero target. So by 2050, the government says that the UK will reach net zero greenhouse emission. It means that that we have to lower our emission that much that that if we add the removed emissions, then the equation goes to 0. And I think it's possible. So we have 25 years or more than 25 years. And if you can see this picture, this is a picture in Oldham. It's an outskirt of Manchester. This is where I live, where I spent half of my year. And in Oldham, in 100 years ago, this was this is how it looked like. The air was polluted in this much way. And then in the 50s, this picture was made now, just it looks like it's in the 50s. But there was this Clear Air Act, and within a few years, they managed to stop this amount of air pollution. And today, if you go to Oldham, then you can breathe in much fresher air than before. I don't say clean because it wouldn't be true, but at least you have much better life conditions. So if they made to happen this whole radical shift within a few years, then I think that we are able to reach net zero as well. Also, if you can see how fast we can accommodate nowadays to technological change, then also it shows that now humanity is ready to accelerate, and we are ready to accommodate more and more new trends. So what are the signs that we are in a beginning of a new era? The disruptive forces like reshaped our status quo, and it yelled at us, and it messaged that what we are doing, what we have done, it's not the right way to live. And all the crises in the history as well, if you had a look, that this is the only positive things what they bought us, that they show something is not right. Also, when you think of how fast we are accommodating, within a few months, we were able to reorganize, educate the way how we educate our children, the way how we interact each other. So I think it's in this angle, it's fascinating to see how fast we can react. And I think this is the same way how we will react on climate change as well. And you can see that more and more company is started to react already. So like IKEA, Salesforce, or Tata, or Alliance, they already made big commitments to have lower carbon footprint operation. And their numbers is growing. But still, we only have 30% of the Fortune 500 companies who committed this much for sustainable business models. So we have to act now, because this 27 years might seem a lot of time, but we have to start the transformation now. So the numbers, what the numbers shows. Oxford University, with Arabex Partners, with an investment company, they made a deep analysis of 200 studies on sustainability and business performance. And they found that 80% of the studies shows positive correlation between stock price performance and good sustainability practices. Almost all the studies, so 90% of them, shows that high ESG standards reduced companies' cost of capital. Another thing what's worth to keep your eyes on is millennials. I'm also belongs to them, so I know very well, and I can admit that what Deloitte found is true. So they found that millennials 5 times more likely to stay at a purpose-driven company. And millennials are able to, and they willing to act on their beliefs, like Greta Thunberg. And company leaders, I think they will find more and more Greta Thunberg sitting behind their desks. There is another study also shows that firms with strong sustainability programs performs better in moral wise. So 55% more this value put into a big important for employees who are working for these companies. Also, employee loyalty is higher, and productivity 25. So this is also, I think, a very interesting fact, that those companies who has purpose and a green purpose, or they want to make the society better, they are 21% more productive. Another example from a big corporate, Unilever. So Unilever bought a lot of purpose-driven brands in the last years, and they found that those brands of them who has purpose, they grow faster, almost 90% faster, and they have a higher margin than a normal brand. So now here we are at the second part of the presentation. It's about corporates. So I collected all the tips based on my experience, what we gained in Spark Institute in the last 7 years. We work for big companies, very big companies, from automotive industry or insurance companies, and also a lot of financial companies we have. So when we sit down with their executives, then there is the momentum. So we sit down and we start to show them where our words facing to. So in our team, we have 30 experts. They are all coming from the field, from different fields. A lot of them from technology. Others are from environmental studies with the environmental studies background, and we have experts from the field of communication. So we sit down with their experts, with these companies' leaders, with our expert, and we start to draw a brand new future. And what we do, that we show them the disruptive trends in their sector, and from there we start to plan their strategies. Also, this book had a big impression on me, not positive, by Paul Polman. He was the former CEO of Unilever, and he shares very, very good best practices and thought-provoking ideas. So I highly recommend this book for you to read. So the 3 steps, what corporates can do to unlock sustainability. One is build partnerships. Here's the main skill what you have to excel with if you are a leader, is complex problem solving. Imagine a world where competitors would work together with their shared suppliers to invent something that's good for their whole industry. For example, in recycled packaging, and the result, the innovation would serve all the stakeholders and even competitors in their business. Or what they can do also, that they can cooperate with an external stakeholder, an external party. This is what Apple did. So they realized that there is a very, very big environmental impact in their operation when they use aluminium. So they cooperated with 2 they call them mining giant, and they established alliances. So what they did is they reinvent aluminium smelting, and they cut off their operational cost as well. Also, they increased their productivity. And not just this, what I think is amazing in this idea. No, after that, they started to sell carbon-free aluminium to other industries as well. And this is how Audi, for example, bought their aluminium and started to use and still using in their sport cars, the wheels of the sport cars. Also, it's a good idea to diversify your product line with purpose-driven brands. Okay. The second thing what corporates can do, that they have to use the latest technology. So it's good that Chris, you said that you are interested in IT improvement, so here is your part. So the skill what all leaders and their employees needs to excel in is prompt engineering. So we have to implement large language models in our business as usual as fast as it's possible. Prompt engineering, it's very easy to learn. So within a week you can learn how to use ChatGPT, for example, as a large language model, and it's worth to put your effort there. And then, because among CEOs and other leaders at corporation, there is a lack of knowledge in environmental studies, in ecology. That's why it's a very, very good tool to use ChatGPT to extend knowledge. So if you use natural language processes and then you have any question, it's very, very good tool to use ChatGPT to ask. Also, it's great to generate content or analyze data, internal or external data. So if you want to know the carbon footstep, what your company is creating, it's ChatGPT. It's a great thing to use. Also, if you want to see trends or consumer behavior, like analyzing their social media posts, here again, ChatGPT is a good tool for you. And the last thing what I wanted to say about corporations, how they can reach sustainability, is moral leadership. And this is the question that I think everyone has to think about, and I want to ask you as well to think about now. And I would be so happy if you could share it, that what is your purpose? What do you uniquely do to make this a better world? Kate says that I have individuals and groups set purposeful goals and make plans to achieve them. Okay, very nice. Ashley, I advise organizations and act as a mentor to think of culture and communication as primary aspect to review ESG compliance. Very nice, thanks. So I move forward, and if we get any more chat message, then I will read it. What I really found fascinating, that as you see that more and more company leaders give their face and make personal commitments to reach new targets. And Google started to say that they will go to net zero, and Microsoft also carried on, and even they made bigger commitments. So just to sum it up, to unlock corporate sustainability, that leaders needs to build partnership, use the latest technology, and show moral leadership. So here's a task for you for home to answer that. What do you think? What's the biggest problem in the world? So if you could now grab a paper and a pen, and you could write down, what do you think? What's the biggest problem in the world? That would be very, very good. And what I want to ask you after inequality. Okay. Oh, okay, it's also right. Negative impact on how we live. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Write this word in a piece of paper and keep it with you for a week. And just let this mantra work in your mind, that this problem might be the biggest business opportunities that you can have. And try to think, how could you solve that? And if you have any idea or any thought, that I would be honored to hear about it. In the future, to find some very, very good business idea and be the next Paul Polman from Unilever, or be the next Abraham Cambridge, and just reach me out, and I'm very, very thrilled to share your story to inspire others as well. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.